It's okay to sound silly. I have a friend who speaks German, English, Chinese, Icelandic, and Japanese. And I've heard her speak lots of these languages, and in some of these languages she's very fluent. She's a native speaker of some of them. And in some other languages she sounds like a kindergarten kid. She really makes mistakes, and she sounds awkward, and she speaks slowly, and she doesn't care at all. And that's why she speaks so many languages. She's willing to be vulnerable and to look like a kid and to make mistakes and to be laughed at and to make other people smile. So that's the trick. So it's really about using a big voice and trying out what you're learning and not worrying if you sound silly or you don't look cool. As well as learning this lesson from my friend, I also learned this lesson when I was up in Beijing in my early 20s learning Mandarin, and there were people in my class from everywhere, people from Japan, Korea, Turkey, Indonesia. Those were the main ones, and the only common language we had was Mandarin. We genuinely needed to communicate with each other. So we had, I had a Japanese roommate and we needed to speak to each other. So we had to speak Chinese. So we had to try it out, and we had to sound silly, and we had to make mistakes, and we corrected each other. And that was a really amazing place to be. There was a Japanese businessman in my class who, was a successful businessman, and he was really good. He stood out to me when I first arrived there at just speaking the language, having a go, even if he sounded silly. And he would pick up new terms. He'd pick up new terms from his friends and then try and use them straight away. And so I'm like, wow, he's saying that a lot. And he'd say it over and over and over. So it's a matter of grabbing what you've learned, saying it as much as you can, little patterns about how people speak that you pick up from your Chinese friend. That kind of being vulnerable, sounding silly, acting like a kid again is how you become really good at a new language quickly. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please come over to my website, studiochina.com.au, where you can sign up to my email list. I love talking about ways to learn Chinese and understand more about the culture. I look forward to talking to you again next week, and I'm going to be talking about the book launch party of my book, the second edition of my book, 86 Dumplings of Insight into China. I'll see you on Tuesday.